But we asked ourselves, why does it have to be like that? Why don't you start with finance and then go backwards into social media?
Okay, we are back at the Bitcoin.com news desk live from Singapore, Token 2049. Who am I with? I'm with Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood. He needs no introduction. Thank you, sir, for this.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get right into it. So Robinhood recently acquired Bitstamp. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, it's been a little bit over a year.
And what was the thesis behind that?
Two things, international and institutional. So Bitstamp has a presence and actually licensure in lots of jurisdictions, including Singapore for institutional finance. And we saw a path to accelerate what we were doing, both internationally and by opening up a new segment of our business, which, we worked with a lot of institutions and market makers by nature of being a large retail platform. But, this gives us another opportunity to serve them and makes them a customer even more directly. And, you guys see, I'm sure, the Bitstamp exchange volumes, they've been on a good trajectory. And Bitstamp is the longest continuously running crypto exchange in the world. So there's a lot of history, a great brand, a lot of amazing talent, some of whom are here in Singapore. There's a Singapore office. And we saw an opportunity to actually take those ingredients, combine them with what we're good at Robinhood, and just accelerate things quite a bit. So I think you'll be seeing more and more out of Bitstamp.
Yes. Robinhood's great at so many things, but just personally from my view and from many people I've talked to, like your UI UX is just like unparalleled. And I've had many people with competing wallets and different things have nothing but great things to say about how well you guys do this.
No, thank you. And that's kind. I think we do have a brand for taking design and user experience very, very seriously. And the other element is the technology that underlies that is really strong as well. So in terms of latency, performance, functionality, I think a lot of people focus on the UX, but the UX doesn't work unless you have a very, very strong foundation. And I think one thing that I'm trying to do better at is just communicating how sophisticated Robinhood is, not just as a tool for beginners, but for, the most sophisticated active trader use cases and increasingly institutional, and how we couple that with industry leading pricing. So we really think we're in a good position to serve all of our customers' financial needs.
Right. How just from how you think about it, but also from a technical perspective, how does the exchange fit in with the app?
Yeah, that's a great question. And perhaps one of the best ways to kind of talk about it is, I don't know if you've seen, hopefully some of the viewers have seen the event that we held in the south of France.
I did.
Just a few months ago.
I did see that.
So if you remember the bit about with the chalkboard, where I said, okay, here's how you tokenize a stock. Here's how it works under the hood. Phase one, trading a tokenized stock, and this is live in Europe right now, looks very much like a traditional stock in the US in terms of the mechanics of it. Phase two, which is where Bitstamp comes in, is where it starts to get interesting. There, we list all of the tokenized assets that we support on exchange, and we unlock 24/7 real-time secondary trading of our stock tokens. And then phase three, it goes into the world of DeFi, where the capabilities really start to multiply. So I think over the next few months, pending regulatory approvals and all of those details that we're going to have to work out, but that we're working on and making progress on, you will see stock tokens being traded on Bitstamp. And I think that will deliver what we call vertical integration, where actually the experience on the front end is made possible because we also control the exchange and the listings, and we can make sure we have ample liquidity for the tokens that you can trade on Robinhood and not easily have access to elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, so I was talking with like an Oracle provider, Redstone, about this difficult. I mean, from a technical standpoint, just this difficult how to price a stock when the traditional market is not open, right? And the closing time of that and the opening time is where you might have these like repricing events.
Yeah, so to some degree, we've already had to deal with this because we have a product called 24-hour market in the US. So that allows trading of over 1,000 single name stocks 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So we start at 5 p.m. on a Sunday and we go round the clock until late Friday, which has been amazing. I mean, a lot of stuff happens on weekends. And if you're on Robinhood, you have an advantage because you can actually take advantage of those trading opportunities before market open on Monday, which is a huge thing. So what we found is that because we have such a large retail platform, when we come into a market and when we offer round the clock trading, liquidity providers and market makers come in as well. So things that aren't viable on other platforms start to become viable on Robinhood. And I think the same thing will be true with the tokenized variants of these stocks. When we did that event in Cannes, afterwards, pretty much every market maker called us and said, okay, what's going on with this tokenization stuff? How can we get involved? Can we plug in and provide liquidity? When can we get started? And I think the great thing about it in Europe, with us going live in Europe, is that a lot of the interests in the US are established, and there can be a tendency to see tokenization as a threat. You know, it could be at the very least driving uncertainty to their existing businesses that are quite big.
Yeah.
But in Europe, it's like net new opportunity. So I think very, very many people are excited about it. I think what's going to happen is they're going to see it work and they're going to get involved in Europe. And then when the time comes for it to arrive in the US, there will be more conversant and open to the technology change.
Is this net new opportunity that you see in Europe, is that because they, in essence, have kind of lost the traditional finance market war, right? Like the US is basically where you have the deepest markets. So Europe is more scrappy. And so they're willing to try to find an edge.
I think up until the recent crypto regulations in Europe, MiCA and to a lesser extent, MiFID registration, it was a little bit of a patchwork of different regulations for different markets. And MiCA, through sort of this like underlying common crypto infrastructure, has simplified things. So one of the benefits of crypto regulation is it opens up new opportunities, right? And we're seeing that in Europe. It makes things simpler and clarifies how to operate. And a lot of these, big firms need that type of regulatory clarity before they can justify making a big investment and entering the market. And that's, by the way, what makes us excited about bringing it to the US as well. One of the main side effects isn't that necessarily Robinhood is going to change how we operate so much, but lots of other companies are going to enter the market. And I think that's going to be better for the whole ecosystem in the long run.
Yeah. How do you feel about crypto options and like perpetual futures?
Yeah, we like them. We have perps live on Bitstamp to our EU customers. There's a lot of effort underway now to bring a true perpetual style product to the US as well. And there's lots of use cases, actually. I think one of the sort of like unsung benefits of a perpetuals product is it allows you to hedge your underlying exposure without having to worry about rolling and, the transactions of having to do like regular transactions all the time, which a lot of people don't like. It's less capital efficient. And so I think we'll get there in the
Yeah.
U.S. as well. It's more a question of timing. We'll
Yeah.
get some clarity this year, or will it wait? We'll have to take a little bit of time. But in the meantime, we are executing on our perpetuals offering in Europe. And I think you should expect that it improves and gains market share, and it gets better and better. And I think there's very clear use cases that customers are asking for.
What about options? I know Coinbase acquired Deribit.
Yeah, crypto options are not something we've been seeing a huge amount of demand for, at least in the US. Now, that could change in the future. And as I'm sure you're aware, we have a very large retail options business.
Yeah.
I think that the need is to some degree met by our existing options products. And also, you have an increasing number of options on ETFs.
Yeah.
With all the crypto ETFs and treasury companies. So options trading on those is very, very popular. But if you're a platform that doesn't have options products, crypto options can be popular. But I think for us, we just have such a large options business and so many things to trade that a dedicated crypto options platform hasn't really been in huge demand by customers.
Yeah, that makes sense. I spoke with Eric Balkanis earlier this year, and he was like, yeah, the options business will come to crypto via the ETFs in a huge way. And so he echoes basically what you're saying on that.
Yeah. Now, I think there are certain things that we're doing our best to bring to the options market. 24 round the clock options trading. For example, options has been a laggard asset in that sense. We now have round-the-clock trading for equities. Obviously, crypto futures is there too. We announced round-the-clock index options, so options on the major indices, and that's going to be rolling out in the coming months. But then, the opportunity that gets us excited is round-the-clock options trading for individual stock options. And that's going to take some work, but we'd like to bring that through to fruition. And I think some people are also talking about perps on individual stocks.
That's what I was going to ask you next. You read my mind. Yeah. Do you think perps are going to make their way into traditional equities?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think well, in the US, we have to get perps at a basic level live first, but I think like perps on individual equities is an inevitability just because they're strong use cases. I mean, if you're thinking about if you're someone that is holding an underlying equities position, and you'd like to, if you're employing like a covered call strategy, for example, which sometimes I run into people that are telling me this use case. You can imagine a perp strategy that removes the need to roll. And I think for many people, that's attractive. So there's real use cases for these things. And I think that makes it an eventual inevitability, particularly as we start to roll out tokenized stock token products. And that provides much of the underlying for that.
Right. Okay, so you announced Robinhood Social. Could you please talk about what that is? And then I have like a comment/question like related to it.
Yeah. So you probably have heard people calling Robinhood a financial super app. So in order to really be a super app, you have to have a social component.
Yeah.
So we're going through it in the opposite direction. A lot of the traditional super apps start with social media and then start layering on things like financial services.
Yeah.
But we asked ourselves, why does it have to be like that? Why don't you start with finance and then go backwards into social media? And the real thing, like the real value is right now, Robinhood is a place where you place the trade. Maybe you do a little bit of research, but a lot of the ideas are actually generated off platform. Folks are on X, maybe they're on Discord, they're on Reddit. They get an idea. Less concentrated that. We love those guys.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
Yeah. Now there's just many, which is very exciting. And, what if you could get the idea from other users on Robinhood and then be able to execute that trade on platform?
Yeah.
And what's the advantage that we have? Because the trades happen on our platform, that enables verification. So that whoever's posting a trade can actually they're not
LARPing.
BSing. Exactly.
Right. A lot of LARPers.
So, and that's a huge use case that a lot of the people are excited about.
I haven't thought of that, but that is absolutely huge. I know, at least on crypto Twitter, my area,
Yeah.
people post trades all the time, and it's just like photoshopped or
With AI, you can easily fake a screenshot now.
yeah, or it's like a paper account. There's like no real money behind it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, my question was going towards the super app thing. It does seem like everybody is kind of honing in on this super app idea, right? Like, and lots of people from various angles. Like, I would just put it like Coinbase there, Binance, Cash App, Telegram, even like Pump.fun.
Right.
All going in on this angle. Do you think this super app idea is inevitable?
I think so. I mean, it's a little bit of a vague term, admittedly. Like, at what point do you become a super app versus just like saying the word super app? And, like if you only offer crypto trading, are you really a super app, right? But you look at what you can do on Robinhood right now. We started rolling out banking, so you can have your paycheck in Robinhood. You have industry-leading savings rate, including on your checking account. You have Robinhood Gold Card, so you can just pay for things with Robinhood. Of course, we have retirement. We have individual stock trading, crypto, stock tokens in the EU, Robinhood Social.
Getting close.
And I'm missing something. Oh, advisory. With our Trade PMR acquisition and with Robinhood Strategies, we can just manage your entire financial life for you. If you don't want to be involved and you want to have like personal CFO that's just managing your finances at the lowest possible cost, Robinhood is going to deliver that for you. So I think we're basically already there by most definitions. Now, we don't really do much in the way of e-commerce, but social's coming. And Robinhood Cortex is being more and more integrated. So we're going to have a native AI that's going to be very, very powerful. So yeah, I think we're basically there. It's just a question of how super can it get, right?
How super is the app?
Can we make it super duper
or is it just going to be super?
Yeah, I think that we're really what we're building is a financial super duper app.
Okay. And do you think it's going to be like winner take most in this category? Like you have 1, 2 super apps, or are you going to have like many of them?
I think that there's a lot of benefits to having having multiple products in one place.
Yeah,
you make it easier to move money. You can actually operate at lower marginal economics per product because you have all of these other products that you can benefit from the economics of, which is a huge advantage. So that's a centralizing effect that's going to push towards more of a winner take most structure. But on the other side, there's always new things to do.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the front foot and the leading edge of innovation. And if some company comes up with something really, really good, and maybe it can be like fairly circumscribed in one narrow wedge for a while, that does open up opportunities to like build a wedge, and then eventually that company will want to expand. So it's a very, very dynamic place. I don't think Robinhood should get complacent, but who benefits at the end of the day is the consumer. There will be greater centralization, but there's always opportunities to improve upon one offering and then expand from there.
It's very gracious of you to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit more about this like tokenized stock thing, but also make it about like RWAs in general.
Yeah.
So I'll start with tokenized stocks. You said that you basically have already solved kind of the major problems of that, which is around the pricing. So then I'm guessing then the biggest issue now is just regulatory, or?
I think from a technical standpoint, I mean, there's always going to be things that need to be figured out. But I think the big things are, making sure we have licensure in different jurisdictions that allows for offering it, and the regulatory relationships that are necessary to build that out around the world. And I think it'll be predominantly ex-US first, and eventually we'll backport it.
My guess.
But no, I think most of it will just be getting the public ready and comfortable with new products. I mean, sometimes when you see a new product, You don't really know what to think of it. I mean, we're dealing with that with prediction markets now, and people are asking, is it wagering? Is it trading? Is it news? So there will be a lot of communication necessary to explain how the product works, why you should use it, why it's better than traditional stocks that you might get from, legacy broker. That will be the bulk of the work, because I think the technical challenges have largely been solved.
Yeah, and so again, I'm a crypto guy, crypto native, and I wonder, like, is it going to be? Am I going to be able to take my tokenized stocks and like put it in Aave or take it out of like a walled garden eventually, or is it always going to be, because of regulatory concerns, kind of constrained?
Yeah, no, that's the plan. The plan will be to take it out of our walled garden into your wallet, and I think it'll happen in phases. That's what we call phase 3. So that's when we've cleared the hurdles, everyone's comfortable, and you can really unlock the power of DeFi and Web3 and hold your tokenized stocks non-custodially, lend them, borrow them on these protocols. And I think that'll be really, really interesting to see what people can build on top of it.
I can't wait for that. Okay, so RWAs, the biggest use case for RWAs right now are stablecoins, I would say. And tokenized stocks obviously would be kind of a close second, maybe.
I think it's coming. I mean, private credit is interesting to a lot of people. And I think last I checked, by total, what's the total, like, assets on chain, TVL. I think private credit tokenized might be bigger. But I think tokenized stocks will surpass that over the next year sometime.
Yeah. You have a stable coin. We get the name USDG.
USDG, the Dollar Global Network.
What are your overall thoughts on this kind of explosion of stable coins? You have like Scott Bessent saying 2 trillion by 2030. Arthur Hayes saying 11 trillion by 2028. So obviously you're going to have a lot of growth. I was just wondering, do you think that we're going to have, similar to the super app thing, like a winner take most? So they're going to have like 1 or 2 major stable coins? Or is it going to be like an ecosystem of stable coins?
I think it'll be an ecosystem of stable coins. Yeah, I mean, you kind of see that happening right now. Every company is going to launch their own stable coin.
Yeah, that's what it does feel like.
Yeah, and what's going to be, what's the network effect? I mean, in crypto, people are building all these bridges. You'll be able to go from one chain to the other chain. I think we're headed toward a multipolar world where everyone can build their own stablecoin, everyone can build their own chain, and what really matters at the end of the day is going to be distribution. Who has the customers? Because if you have the customers, I don't know if too many people care necessarily whether it's going to be USDG, USDC, USDT.
Retail's not going to care at all.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of would prefer to not see that. They just want to know I have dollars that I can move 24/7.
Yes.
And nothing weird is going to happen with my dollars. So as long as those are met and you have confidence, I think that stablecoin will probably over time move to a little bit more of a background role. Now you're seeing everyone making big announcements. I have this stablecoin, I have that one, but I think it's going to go much like tokenization to a core underlying infrastructure layer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I've never thought of it like that for stablecoins, but like within the past 6 months, just in crypto land, this idea of kind of this is crass, but like owning the users, the distribution channel.
Yes.
There's been like a sea change in crypto from like the fat protocol thesis of years ago, where the underlying blockchains would accrue most of the value. Now, pretty much everyone that I talk to is like, yeah, if you are front and closest to the user, you're going to have the most value accrual and power in terms of distribution, things like that. But speaking of chains, you launched an L2.
Yes.
Now, within the past month, there have been a lot of high-profile launches, L1s, or announcements like Stripe with Tempo. Google has said they're going to launch an L1 called G. Cole.
G. Cole.
well, I mean, they might change the name, but GCUL. That was the announcement. I don't know. You had Plasma release fanfare this past week. Stable also is going to come out. All L1s, L1.
Yeah.
Also all focused on stablecoin transactions. Why did you launch an L2?
Well, we looked at it from a first principles standpoint, and the folks that we were considering launching on an L1, perhaps also doing our own, but we need very, very specific things from our own chain, and we felt like building an L2 and leveraging all the great infrastructure that the Ethereum ecosystem already has built was optimal from our standpoint. It's interesting. Yeah. Like when we announced this, the question was largely like, well, why not go on an L1? Maybe you can go on Solana or one of these other chains that have become very popular versus building your own L2. And now it's like, all these L1s are being announced. Why are you building your own L2 versus your own L1? And I've talked to a lot of the folks building these chains. I think a lot of it is not really super principled. They don't have great reasons why it's an L1 versus an L2. I think they just want to do something different. And by nature of doing something different than Robinhood, a lot of them end up doing kind of the same thing.
I'll give you the very cynical crypto take, which is, if you launch an L1, you get to release a token and make lots of money.
Right. Well, you could do that in an L2 as well.
Oh, I know, but I mean, yeah, that is also true. But I mean, L1s could maybe even get more. But
more hype, right?
More hype. Yeah. Right. And this is, I think,
you're right. That is a cynical view. But it's also you get full control, which a lot of these are centralized, sort of like more traditional players.
Yeah.
And they don't like the idea of giving up full control, which to some extent having our own L2 gives us quite a bit of that. But it's a hybrid approach. I think we're looking for the benefits of building on the Ethereum ecosystem while having enough control to make sure that our products are best in class.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you, sir. I know your time is precious. As you said before we were on camera, I really appreciate this.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Yes.